the idea is not to put into ventilation every patient. Depending on the situation of the patient, then you have to have different alternatives. Some of you are asking if only with a compressed air, with room air, like 21%, others with a higher percentage. That also depends on the patient. And the idea is that you always use your pulse oximeter. You need to have that all the time, because then you can measure, is the patient oxygenating or not? And then if not, you have to give him more. So you have to continue, you have to be able to monitor many parameters at the same time. So I just wanted to answer that, Joel, because I thought it was linked.
Yeah, sure. Do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, as you said, it's really important to monitor. You said that the hemodynamic of the patient, then the oxygen saturation of the patient, but you have also to make the monitoration of the pressure of the CPAP. If it is too much, you could make an injuries of the lung, that's for sure. But most of the time, the pressure is not so high, and maybe you could tell us, Mr. Donner, is, like I said, is not so high. You're in mute system. Sorry.
Yes, Joel, if I can add something.
Yeah, do it.
Yes.
Yes.
The problem with this disease is really particular. The patient are becoming hypoxic, and the virus blunt the physiological response to hypoxemia. There is a mechanical system called the pulmonary vasoconstriction, hypoxic pulmonary vasoconstriction, which allows everybody to react to hypoxemia. But this patient have this system blocked, which means that they are hypoxemic. And we need to assist them, and we need to give them oxygen, because it's a treatment. Oxygen is not just to spend some time with pressure and to get wind from oxygen, but it's a medication. Oxygen is medication for this patient. Why? Because when you give oxygen to the patient, the drive, the inspiratory drive, which means the force to inspire, is less negative just because you give oxygen. If you give pressure to this patient, we thought that we could use pressure, only pressure air. If you got pressure, you improve the edema in the alveoli. So you increase the residual vital capacity, which means that you improve the oxygen store in the lungs. So if you give pressure and oxygen, you treat the patient, and they are less keen to alter their own lung trying to inspire, because when you try to inspire, you alter your alveolo-capillary membrane. And then when the alveolo-capillary membrane of the lung is destroyed, liquid flows out the alveoli, and it's edema, and it's a way to go to the tracheal tube and ventilation. So oxygen is the treatment, just like antibiotics, just like anticoagulants, just like bronchodilators. We give all these drugs to the patient, but oxygen is their medication. And their medication is oxygen plus pressure during expiration, and oxygen plus pressure during inspiration, which allows, because inspiratory pressure is diaphragm, is muscle. So you give the patient an option to breathe better, to have a better ventilation, because you improve, you decrease the work of breathing, you increase the force of the diaphragm because you use inspiratory, and then during expiration, you reopen the lung and let oxygen reach the alveoli and enter the arterial blood, which means that you decrease the negative pressure you do at each breath. Oxygen is a treatment for this patient, and oxygen allows some of them not to be intubated. Not all of them will be saved from intubation, but you can treat this patient with oxygen.
Joel, if you may, I would like to add something to your comment before about the interest of CPAP devices that do not require machine, and it's not mandatory to monitor the pressure with it, and furthermore, it's very single to drive. because you just have to set the flow rate of oxygen, of mixture, like I said before, to drive the device. So it's although with the machine, the users will have to adjust adequate ventilatory parameters like the pressure, the volume, like you said. But in this case, you will not have, it's very easy to drive. That's the interest for the LMICs. Furthermore, it is cheap and it is easy to install.
Okay, thank you. Tom, let me just answer a few questions that I think it's really important because
sure, go ahead.
Just front of us, Menelik Dida from Ethiopia, he said that he has many CPAP machines, but for kids, you know, for younger people, for an ICU. And he said, could we use this kind of machine to treat adult patients? I don't know, but I would say that depends the rate of the level of the flow of oxygen flow that they need, and depends the illness. Maybe the doctor could answer a little bit more.
Yes, and once again, I'm sorry. I will. If you have a machine, a ventilator, you can control the pressure. So yeah. you give the oxygen with inspired concentration. You can control, and you can control the pressure during breathing. This is one of the systems. But if you have no ventilator, let's use the CPAP of Boussignac. It's the open system. There's never overpressure. Never. If you have to, if the pressure is too high as compared to the patient thoracic compliance, the air goes out the CPAP device. It's open. So there's never overpressure. It could be overpressure sometime when you close the system and you blow inside the system. You will see in my slide, I gave you some bench test of the CPAP of Boussignac. Boussignac system is surprising. High inspiratory flow and never overpressure unless you blow in it and you close the system. Which means we have now a system. There are other pocket device CPAP that allows to perfectly set the maximum pressure in the airway. So they are safe. These are safe. But the CPAP for Boussignac, there's no fine tuning or anything. Just put oxygen, put pressure, depending on flow, adapt to SpO2. And when you have your SpO2, the patient is correct and the patient will breathe with this. And you have a point SpO2 flow. And we know exactly what this CPAP promotes in terms of expiratory pressure, depending on the flow. Regarding inspiratory pressure, it depends on the inspiratory flow of the patient. The more important is the inspiratory flow, the inspiratory drive of the patient, the lowest will be the pressure during inspiration. Although this system has a very high peak flow for inspiration.
Thank you, Jim. I think we have a question, if you may, Joel and Tom, maybe Adriana from one of the attendees. They said there is no recommendation from WHO for this type of device. May Adriana answer? For the device that does not
I think that's incorrect. I think there are recommendations. Go ahead, Adriana.
All the recommendations are there. The technical specifications are there for BiPAP, CPAP, and high flow nasal cannula. The three of them are in the catalog. The three of them are in the technical specifications. I just placed the links in the website, in the chat, and also for the website, and also for the website, for the page of the clinical management, so that they can see exactly when to use the invasive and non-invasive ventilators. And these are going, just for any of the links in WHO, please know that as more evidence becomes available, then these keep changing. So always check the date. There were some from March, some from April, and now in May we will keep updating them. But yes, there are, all the specs are in the website. Thank you.
Thanks, Adriana. I knew that, but I just wanted you to precise it.
Yeah, it is there. I just sent it in the chat.
As we see, the time is running, and maybe we just have 5 minutes to conclude. I don't know if Tom, you want to conclude, or maybe.
Well, we're going to talk about the to-dos, but you know, there's a lot of great questions coming in. I've seen 25 on the Q&A tab and many more on the chat, and we're answering some of them. But Adriana, we can take time at the end on Friday to at our next town hall to take some time at the end to address more of these questions that we haven't been able to address today. So that's one comment.
It would be great, yes.
Adriana, you talked about one of the to-dos a moment ago, and I think that's helping WHO. You know, what this is a user experience network that we've talked about on other town halls related to oxygen concentrators and other things like that to help get the O2 systems out to Africa that you're concerned with right now? Okay.
Yes. What we really need to know is which of the ventilators or any of these non-invasive can run out of an oxygen concentrator, and then what are the requirements, so that then we can make sure that they manage. We're not being able to purchase all the oxygen concentrators that we need because they are not available in the market. So, but nevertheless, WHO has been finding other sources, and we are in the process of procuring a lot of oxygen concentrators that will go to the countries. BiPAP and CPAP are not being purchased this week, but will be purchased very soon. We would like countries to fill in the survey of the availability of ventilators, CPAP, BiPAP, etc. in the website. I just sent the link to the medical devices sources, and there is a link there to be able to comply and submit your questions and availability and needs, so that then we can match the availability with the needs. But I want to take the time to thank very much AFIB. They have been great, and thank you very much, Tom, for organizing this meeting with
Thank you, Adriana.
IFMBE.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the next session. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you
everybody.
to join us.
Bye. Bye-bye.
And please stay safe, and remember, a patient is at the end of everything we do.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Kathy.
Pascal.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Kathy.
Thank you, Adriana. Thank you. Sorry
Thank
for
you,
the late.
everybody. Thank you, Gilles. It was really interesting. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Joel. Kathy.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Kaliroy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Send your questions, and we hope that we will be responding to them. And also they will be posted in WHO, and please help us disseminate this information. Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you also.
Stay safe. Stay safe. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.